So you want to do comedy. How? One of the easiest ways in is through making comparisons. Compare two things. Apples are red, oranges are orange. Simple, not very funny. It's not surprising. There's no teeth there. There's nothing particularly original about it. But comparisons are a key fundamental of comedy. People make comedy through comparisons. Oftentimes, it starts with comparing absurdity with normal. If something weird happens, you recognize that it's weird because you have a normal to compare it to. Here's an example. I was getting takeout recently, and the cashier asked me if I was military. I live near a base, so it's understandable. I said no, because I'm not. And the normal thing would be for that line of questioning to stop right there, right? Because I know if I'm military or not. Now I should say I've got nothing against the military. A lot of my friends are in the military, I grew up around it. I have a lot of respect for them. But when it comes to whether I'm military or not, this isn't a debate. It's not some kind of story problem. It's no. If you want to go multiple choice, it's A, no. B, no. C, no. D, no. So then the cashier says, really? Like I was suddenly gonna fess up and say, oh my gosh, I'm glad you asked. Wow, I don't have to keep it a secret anymore. Or like she was some kind of missionary who was gonna convert me into the religion of being military. And it's not like I would want to keep it a secret or anything. I mean, I'd do a lot of things for a 15% discount on ribs. But I'm not gonna do that. My military friends would whoop my ass. But she wasn't done. She said, you look like you're military. And I didn't know how to take that. It wasn't like I had fatigues on or like camo or something. I just stood there looking like an Asian kid who can't handle the cold. I said, thank you, to be polite, and immediately I already thought, I'm glad we're done with that. Grabbed my ribs, started walking away. She chimes in, it's just 'cause you look like you'd punch someone. What? What the f? What kind of shit is that? So what did I do there? I didn't really do any embellishment here, which is another key element of comedy, which we'll go over another time. This was just a story, but I did play around a bit with comparisons as I told the story. First, recognizing when things got weird. It was that moment that the dialogue continued after I definitively said no. This type of comparison, absurd to what normally happens, is the starting block for a lot of comedy. If the interaction ended where I expected it to end, then this isn't a conversation that stands out. Keep your eyes and ears peeled when things happen, because it's only then that you can make that comparison and find the funny in day-to-day life. After I recognized that, I made some comparisons. I mentioned a debate, because in spite of how much I knew what the reality was, she really wanted to argue this, like she was a flat earther, but arguing about my background for some reason. I mentioned answering story and multiple choice questions, because she was making this very clear-cut answer of no, way more complicated than it needed to be. Really? Is what really got me. Like I would want to keep this incredible secret surrounded by other military folks and intentionally miss out on a discount for barbecue. And the insistence felt like religious folks knocking on my door trying to get me to go to church. And from there, the rest was just me reacting to her believing that I looked military based on the reality of me and what I was wearing, and the absolute nuclear bomb of a justification from her that felt so weird and out of nowhere that I could not forget it. Now, how funny was the story? I don't know, you tell me. Comedy is in the eye of the beholder. So if it wasn't funny, I hope it was at least helpful in understanding the concept. If it was funny, then cool. I still hope it was helpful in understanding the concept, but I would feel less bad if it wasn't, just 'cause a laugh is worth a lot. Now, if you want to make comedy, make comparisons. Find something you want to make funny and compare it to something else. If the two things you're trying to compare are super close, it won't be very surprising, and thus probably not very funny, because other people have likely made that comparison already too. The farther you can travel on your comparison and still make it make sense, the more likely you'll create a satisfying surprise. And hey, you might make someone laugh.